Brachycephalic animals have a shortened muzzle. They're also known as flat-faced breeds.
The problem with this sort of short muzzle is that quite simply there are multiple levels of obstruction between the air getting in from the outside into the lungs. I think people think that if their dog's snoring, toppling over, that it's sort of actually quite cute. But actually, if your child was breathing in this way, you'd be taking that child down to hospital immediately for attention. Violet is a 3-year-old French bulldog that's come into Battersea, and it's very sweet-natured, but like a lot of these breeds, she has problems with her breathing that necessitated surgery, and that's why she's with us today. So in her case, that means opening up these little constricted nostrils that she has. We'll need to trim an overlong soft palate, and there are also some little soft tissue extensions at the back of the throat that we'll need to remove. This is anything but routine surgery, having said that we do an awful lot of it. I think it's probably easy to think that this is just a cure-all procedure, but often I'd probably describe it more as a salvage procedure, in that you can usually improve situations, but you can't always return them back to normal. And sadly, for some of the cases we see, particularly some of the older ones that have been struggling with this issue for a long time, their larynx actually collapses in on itself, and there's nothing that we can do for those dogs.
Staff member Ali has rehomed 2 brachycephalic dogs from Battersea. Enid and Ernie have not only struggled with their breathing, but also with their eyes, teeth, diet and hygiene.
Both have their issues. I can't give Enid or Ernie a chew because if they swallow it, it can quite easily get stuck. Enid and Ernie, because their faces are so flat, they can't wash themselves properly, so you have to do a lot of cleaning for them as well. Living with an unhealthy brachycephalic breed has issues and medical costs as well.
So it's not just dogs that are brachycephalic or flat-faced. There are actually several breeds of cats that are brachycephalic and flat-faced as well. Social media does have a part to play in the glamorizing of these cats, which sadly means that the more and more exaggerated features become the sort of desirable features for potential new owners, and unfortunately they maybe don't understand what those exaggerated features might mean for the cat's sort of welfare and its life. One of the more extreme sides of it is the fact that their breathing can be like really impacted. And this can mean that doing cat things, you know, like jumping or climbing or running, the things that, you know, we think about cats, they can't do that.
Happily for Violet, her surgery was successful and she's breathing a lot more comfortably. The French Bulldog, I'd probably barely seen one 6 or 7 years ago, but just last year they were at the top of the Kennel Club's list of most popular breeds. Of course, dogs look this way because we bred them to look this way. Studies show that people are attracted to this sort of foreshortened face, these protruding eyes and this domed forehead. And I think as a society, we just have to get away from our love of dogs with these extreme facial characteristics and odd anatomy that might be appealing to us, but causes real health issues for these dogs.
It's difficult because certainly people don't choose what they fall in love with. But I think if you are considering getting a flat-faced breed, then you really do need to do your homework.